Okay, we are on page 3 of Reform, and this is letter C, the Benevolent Empire. And keep in mind, this is during America's first industrial revolution, and it was incredibly successful. But being successful, a lot of people in society felt that there was a decline in morals. Why? Because people are beginning to be more interested in making money than they are going to church. And make sure you know what the Jeremiahs are. At this time, you're going to be having a man by the name of Lyman Beecher, and he is going to be the one that is going to be starting the temperance movement. And temperance, we're talking about anti-liquor. Look at the last name, Beecher. That name will become familiar later on because he is the father of Harriet Beecher Stowe, the lady that wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin. And being Irish, he, like a lot of fellow Irishmen, are going to be seen as unworthy in society. During this time period, you're going to have missionaries, and missionaries are religious people that go out and try and do good. And at this time, there's that anti-Indian removal movement, and it was the missionaries that would pray with the Indians, pray for the Indians. They would also translate the English language Bibles into the language that Indians could understand. And the whole idea here is they try to help the Indians without much success. Then there are the black churches, and they were segregated. And even though they were segregated, both black and whites, they prayed to the same God, but they had different messages. Sometimes the white man would want the slave to be with him. That way, the sermon would be something about fear God as you would your master. And the whole idea is to try and convince the slaves to be loyal and obedient to their masters. Okay. Other messages were like the idea of freedom. Okay. And the church that is going to be more accepting of the African Americans, well, I can't call them African Americans because they're not going to have that title until after the 14th Amendment. The free blacks and the slaves is the Baptist Church. And the church became the cultural and social center of the black communities. Whenever a black community was started, the very first thing that they set up was, of course, the church. And later on, the black churches are going to become political in that they are going to be pushing for the idea of emancipation, freedom. Okay, and there are some blacks that are going to become Christian, and in their view, being Christian means being free. But laws were passed to make sure that whether you were a Christian or not, a black was a slave. So the image on the left, you see young ladies working in industry, and taken out of the home. You know, a lot of people felt that, well, women shouldn't be working in factories, but when you're poor, you gotta work. Up next, the next image, if it works. Here you have the Lyman Beecher, who was the temperance movement man. And right here you see the image of a black church. Right here you see an image that was used politically. Am I not a man and a brother? In other words, here you have a man that is a Christian and saying, hey, look, how can you continue treating me like I'm a slave? Okay. Focus on that image because it is an image that has come out before in the AP exam. All right, that's the end of page 3. Thank you very much.